New week, new month, and of course, fresh and exciting content lined up here on Sporty Monday. The FKF Leagues and Competitions Committee has made a ruling on 2 abandoned matches involving Gor Mahia versus Nairobi United and Ulinzi Stars versus Murang'a Seal. We will break it all down for you. And there's more. Kenyans continue to grow bolder, taking on challenges to push powerful messages from tree embraces to endurance feats. The latest comes from Kenyan athlete Bensi Chepngeno Cheriot, who today is undertaking a 12-hour race challenge at the Ministry of Sports headquarters here in Nairobi. The initiative aims to create awareness against doping, SGBV in sports, and poor governance. Our reporter Steve Shitera is on location and will bring us the details. And the biggest highlight of the day, on our quickfire segment, we have the honor and privilege of hosting the Principal Secretary for Sports, Elijah Mwangi, who will be here shortly. Expect big conversation around AFCON readiness and much more coming up shortly here on Sporty Monday. You don't want to miss that conversation. I'm your host, Isaac Swila Tijan, in the good company of the Blue Lady Ziti Jimoi, and of course, Jacob is here to my right. Wakili Jafeth Munyendo today takes a break, but will be here next week. And to our question of the day, of course, AFCON is the biggest conversation, with sports PS Elijah Mwangi set to be our guest today. And on that vein, we are asking you, do you think East Africa will get its facilities ready on time for the AFCON 2027? Do you think Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will get all facilities ready in time for the AFCON 2027? Of course, that showpiece coming to Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, and Kampala next year. All the big stars, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, name it, they'll be here to battle it out for glory. And of course, our top story, we stay local. The FKF Leagues and Competitions Committee has made what to some say as divisive or controversial ruling regarding 2 abandoned matches. We are talking about Gor Mahia's match against Nairobi United, which ended 1-1, and of course, chaos reared its ugly head, as well as Ulinzi Stars versus Murang'a Seal. Jacob, pleasure having you here.
Pleasure having you too, and pleasure being here on a Monday where a lot is happening, and of course, having enjoyed the weekend that was really good sports-wise.
Zita thought this trophy will not be coming to North London, but all predictions, everything.
She's now the only person who is in denial.
We have 14 games to go. We have 14 games.
You are the only person who is in denial. And I just was asking the other day, why did Abdikadir appear to be losing faith? Seth Olale, of course, also appearing to be losing faith about this thing. And I thought Zita must be interfering with their spirits. but now you remain the only person around here who still believes it's going to go any other place. But I can assure you that now prepare yourself. Tutakuvalisha jezi hapa mbele ya watu.
Anyway, let's start locally. There's this controversial ruling. Let's start with Gor Mahia against Nairobi United. That match, of course, was played at Dandora Stadium, and it ended 1-1. Rather, it didn't end 1-1. It was abandoned in the second half. And the question was, how will FKF proceed? But we saw the ruling by the Leagues and Competitions Committee and saying now this match, and we have on air basically the ruling in part. They're saying now the mechi itabaki vile, itasalia vile libaki 1-1, kila mtu achukue pointi moja. On the other hand, Ulinzi Stars versus Murang'a Seal, we were told Ulinzi Stars are actually culpable because you guys walked out of the pitch and made the match not to be played to its logical conclusion. And on that regard, Murang'a Seal take home the 3 points and the two goals.
Well, let me start by, because unfortunately Munyendo is not here, and he would have maybe broken down for us rule by rule. And let me say this, that there's a lot of issues happening within our league. Things to do with officiating, Like yesterday, you saw what happened, with the match between Shabana and
Bandari.
at Bandari. That was, with all due respect to the Shabana family, I think it was daylight robbery. But when you are having such a kind of environment, you need to be very careful with the decisions that you make. Lest you make a decision that motivates another act of hooliganism so that a team can get points. So, for example, on the ruling concerning Nai Boys and Gor, we have been given we have been told actually the end of the matter concerning the points, but that matter is still on in terms of like maybe a committee is going to continue looking at it. So if you are Gor Mahia or if you are Nai Boys, and next time you think that this team is difficult, I can't hold them for 90 minutes, but I know we can cause chaos and the match ends maybe 1-1 or 0-0, 40 minutes before the regulation time. Why won't you repeat the same when you have a script that we are going to get a point out of this? So I would just advise the federation, please don't put yourself into a fix where a mistake will encourage people to do many more mistakes, or put you into a fix where people will ask you, you set already a precedence, for example, in a ruling like that. So we expect you to do the same in other rulings, because a mistake leads to another. I think it is quite funny to say that a match that had more than 40 minutes to be played, you say that that's how it's supposed to end. And the question is, have you told us whose error, whose mistakes led to the abandonment?
So from where you sit, Jacob, what do you think should have sufficed here? Of course, we are no lawyers, and football is governed by rules and regulations. From where you sit, should have the Leagues and Competitions Committee ordered for a replay? What do you think should have done? Or maybe to go and play the 40 minutes that these players didn't play to logical conclusion? We know
we are not lawyers, but at least we understand the rules of the game. The fundamental question should have been, what led to the abandonment? So if I'm the one who led to that abandonment, then it should inform my punishment. Do you understand? That is what we should have now led the committee to decide whether the game is going to continue or the points are going to be given to one side. You understand?
Yes.
Or whatever form of punishment. But if you are not told whose mistake it was, who led to the abandonment, then the ruling about the sharing of points is not conclusive. Is something that is arrived at out of no basis that can be considered.
Absolutely. And Zita, I read that ruling and I read between the lines. And what I saw was a federation wanting to be in good books, not to
with
rub
both sides.
With both sides.
Yes.
Not to rub Kogalo the wrong way and also not to rub Nairobi United the wrong way. But if you read again the ruling on Ulinzi Stars and Murang'a Seal, it was more detailed. You are being told this was the match referee's report, this was the match commissioner's report, this is what Ulinzi submitted, and so on and so forth. But again, if you read that ruling, one thing is clear and we can't avoid it. Football is evolving, and now there's employment of technology in the beautiful game. And we saw this in CHAN. We saw this in AFCON. CHAN was actually hosted on our very own soil. Now, the question is, how long is it going to take the federation to put in place the use of technology? Had technology been employed, probably, you could have had even the benefit of reviewing some of these clips, because it's now allegations. This is what Ulinzi Stars reported. This goal was scored. Player B handled the ball. So a feeling of injustice, so to speak. And we can't really say we are not at a point where we can't deploy technology. We saw it used in CHAN on our very, very own ground. This is a challenge to the federation.
Swila, we can even use the technology, but if the ruling doesn't go with what people think, they'll still rule. They'll still give us the same ruling that you're seeing with the Nairobi United and Gor Mahia. You remember the game that was played in May 2024 at Police Sacco Stadium? That was a it was a semi-final between the FKF Cup, between Police FC and the FC Leopards. remember, and there was, I think, a fan alitupa kitu ikagonga assistant referee, and the match was abandoned. And I think the next day, that it was on 27th of May, the match was replayed, but the match was abandoned when it was at 60th minute, 60 minutes, yeah. And then the next day, of course, there was a little bit of buvtano between the chairman. That was by that time Shikanda was the chairman of FC Leopards. But the match was played. The remaining 30 minutes was played the next day in empty stadium where there was no fans, and it was in the morning. You remember that scenario?
I remember the scenario.
And then you're telling me that you're going to award a point to each team because the match was abandoned at, it was 58th or 56th minute.
58.
That is meaning 40 minutes played time, where can be the match, the result can be changed by...
Can score even 10 goals.
Even 10 goals in that minute. And then you're telling me this is the ruling that you're giving you. I even be kama hata maybe sijui rules. I know this is not the correct rule that you're giving me.
And that's what Isia was alluding to, that we need to be told in black and white, no sugarcoating, who was the guilty party here, who caused the match abandonment.
And knowing that the match was taken to Dandora Stadium, and Dandora by that time, I think most of the teams walikuwa wamekataa, we're not going to play the Dandora because the surface is not good. Who again accepted the match to be played at Dandora Stadium? Things should start from there, because the team that again accepted the match to be played at Dandora Stadium, of course the home team
was a high-risk game.
Yes, the high-risk game. The Nairobi United was the home team. And then after that, you ask yourself, where did the chaos started? I know you guys know, or what the match officials said, where everything erupted. But again, after all these rulings, there's no sanction that has been done. There's no money that have been told even the clubs to change. What even all the damage that happened in Dandora, who's going to pay for that? There are people who died actually during that match because of the stampede that happened. Who is going to do it? Even to take those who were in the hospital, nanaenda kulipa bills out, because you've decided you're sitting here, you're just saying, watch our play 2 points na your story. It is not going to happen, and it's going. Before as I finish, it's going to erupt a lot of things that is happening in FKF. Enye wanafunikia, unaona ile vitu zenye zinafanyika, unafunikia na mchanga, unafunikia na sijui na nini. When it comes out, it's going to be very bad on the noses of FKF. Trust you me.
It's as you come in, as you make a point, also tie to the fact we are seeing more and more questionable calls. The quality of officiating is an all-time low. And it's a concern, not just to the players, but even the coaches and all the stakeholders. Because you work hard in training 6 days a week, trying to prep your team. And of course, every coach goes to a match to win. But as what we witnessed yesterday and many other games preceding this, the level of officiating has really gone down. Now,
let me actually pick from what you had asked Zita about technology, VR. You see, it can't be one of the problems that we had during CHAN was players, not used to reviewing of some of the things they do. I remember, for example, at Kasarani when we were playing, I remember a match when Erambo was shown a red card. And people were like, should that be a red card? But you see, it is a function of VAR. So we are subjecting our players and our referees to a situation where we are not updating to the standard of the game, the common practice all over the world. But when it comes now to AFCON qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers, CHAN, AFCON, like the one we're going to play, you are subjected now to the higher standards. So the referees are operating at very different levels. And that's why it's going to derail us. So like you were saying, why not? If we had that during CHAN, why are we not told what would be the cost of making sure that all these matches...
That should be the debate and the question we are having.
What is the cost?
But we have the media house that is recording all these.
Because the referees need to make decisions real time, by benefit of that VR. I want to believe it's something that is possible. Now, secondly, you're talking about these funny calls all the time. You see, I was saying that when AFCON happened and we saw the referee from Congo making also some funny calls, of course, and led to the short-lived boycott by the Senegalese players, you have seen what has happened after that. CAF has detailed the blame on every person as they played it.
Which I think was fair, yeah.
On the Moroccan players, on the Moroccan Federation,
yes.
on the Senegalese coach,
and
on the players and all that.
The referee.
So this is the thing. The moment a mistake has happened, or maybe chaos happened like it happened. Let's have a detailed thing because it cannot be only one side, or it cannot be like you are saying. Let's share the points, but we don't have the details. And then the sanctions should be very clear so that it serves as a warning to another team that next time when you do this, this is going to be the repercussion. But finally also, Swila, on this, I have seen a lot of questions concerning even some referees being used for this, surfacing for some team every other match. The standard is, Swila, it can't be that one referee is appearing almost in every other team's match. I was talking the other day to a stakeholder within the Kenyan Women Premier League, and he was saying that there's a team, there's a specific referee, almost every other match, that is referee is found as a center referee. Now, what I'm saying is the integrity of the game
is at stake.
Is at stake, and I think lest we appear to be too harsh on the federation, I think if we don't get it right here, on the question of the integrity of the refereeing and all that, we are going to have a lot of chaos before the end of the season.
Yesterday's match, Bandari against Shabana, what if that goal was given to Shabana and Bandari and Shabana was at the home team? What would have happened?
That was a clear goal.
Like that was a clear goal. Was it a penalty? Like these are the things, if you review even with the materials that are being given here for us to use, you review some things and then you see the decision that the referees are making, you're like, these are the things that we don't want to see in our Premier League, because it's really bringing our Premier League down. And then you start questioning, hata mimi ningekuwa hapo touchline, of course singepeana hii kama bao. You see, so these things are the things that we are talking. A lot of people are raising these issues, but the FKF is not taking anything. So talking about the referees, we saw other referees being suspended because of match fixing in the last region, but a lot of them, they're back and are officiating these games. So what is happening? I hope if they pass the bill, 2025 bill, these things will reduce. But again, we are really going to a very messy place, knowing that these teams have funds, knowing that these teams need to, referees need to now to pull up the. We're not saying that we are blaming everything to them, because we know it's not an easy job for them to even doing this. But again, they need to pull up their socks. Every time, not every fan talking about anasema referee now amefanya hivi. The idea, they need to pull up their socks.
The idea, Zita, is in fact is people. We should see the consequence of wrong decisions. Absolutely. Simply that. Because sometimes you may not know what is the motivation, whether it is something that was pre-planned or it's just a mistake. But when mistakes happen, let there be consequences for the same as a way of deterring people to continue with the same.
Absolutely. We have interesting conversations lined up. And of course, today we are asking you, do you think East Africa will get her facilities ready on time for the Africa Cup of Nations? That showpiece is set for next year in Nairobi, Kampala, and Dar es Salaam. Of course, the whole Africa, the whole of the world will be focusing their attention in this part of the world. And we want to hear your thoughts as stakeholders, so you can text us 22422 is the SMS number. You can also X us at Jacob is here, at Isaac Swila, at ZTG Moi, at Citizen TV Kenya. We are going to sample some of your thoughts. We are also on social media, Facebook. You can interact with that question, and of course, we will be glad to sample some of them. As earlier mentioned, we have athlete Bensi Chepngeno Cheriot, who is running against doping at 12-hour non-stop race at the Minister of Sports headquarters right here in Nairobi. We'll be linking up with Steve Shitera shortly, but for now, let's go abroad and look at how Alcaraz, did shine at